All right, guys, so before we jump into our code and start making requests, I just want to show you the DevTools Network tab because that can really come in handy. So I'm at my traversymedia.com website, but you could go to any website. And if you click on the Network tab, you're just going to want to refresh the page, and that will make the request to the server to get the document as well as any files, any resources that come along with it. So you can see the time that it takes, the number of requests. You can see all the resources, including the document itself, the CSS files, the JavaScript files, all the images, so all the any HTML. So basically, you can see all the resources, and you can see the type. Okay, so style sheet, script, and if you only want to see, like, let's say the CSS, then you could click here. That will only show you the CSS, only the JavaScript. If your page is making any kind of requests using either the XHR object or the Fetch API, you're going to see that here. Okay, and you can see the response. If I click here, this is just for the Google Analytics, so nothing really special there. Now, you see that there's statuses here, and these are all 200 except for the document itself, which is 304, and that just means that it's not modified. So we have the page cached on our system, and the web page hasn't changed, so we just get this 304 response. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong or anything like that. All right, let's see. If we want to look at more information on one of these requests, one of these resources, let's click on the style.css. It'll show you the request URL, the request method, which in this case was a GET request, right, because we're fetching data, the status code, which is 200, which means everything is successful, everything went how it should. We have the content type, in this case is text/CSS. So every type of file has a specific content type. So that's for CSS. If you go to the JavaScript file, that's going to be text/JavaScript. If you go to, let's say, one of these images, the content type is image/PNG. You might also have image/JPEG. And when you are fetching JSON data, it's going to be application/JSON, which I'll show you in a few minutes. All right, so if you want to see the exact response, let's go right here. So in this case, the exact response is the CSS file. Let's see, you can see the headers, which we just looked at, a preview. And then if you want to disable cache, you can do that. If you want to slow it down, like if you want to see how your application performs if you don't have a connection, you could choose offline. You could also choose like slow 3G, and that will just slow everything down so that you can test your application on a slow connection. Now, that's just for a regular website. Now what I want to do is hit an endpoint for an API, and I'm going to use the GitHub API as an example. So let's say HTTPS, and we're going to say API right here, api.github.com/users. If you do that, it'll show you an array of users, but I'm going to go to my specific account or my specific profile, which would be users/Brad Traversy. And if you have your own GitHub profile, you can put that in there as well. All right, and what this will show me is just the JSON object of my user. Okay, now it looks nice because I have an extension, a Chrome extension called, what is it? It's, I think it's, yeah, JSON Formatter. So you can make it nice and pretty, and then you can see all the different data that is available to us. So the login or username, the ID, the avatar URL, the URL to get, which are basically other API endpoints to get like the followers URL, following, starred, repos. So if you want to get all of this user's repos, you can do that. What else? Name, company, blog. So all this information you can fetch and you can use it in your application. Now, if we open up the DevTools and let's just do a reload on the Network tab and click on the document, you'll see in the headers we get it's a GET request. We get 304, so not modified. And if we look at the type, it's application/JSON. And if we look at the exact response, it's going to be just this data. Okay, so this is what we're getting. So what I want to do in the next video is show you how to get this data from within our code.